Welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And we're just a fantastic couple in love that loves reacting to some Fallout.
Yeah, we do.
And so this is Fallout Season 3. We're starting it. We're doing episode 1 and 2 for Season 3. So that is A Man Named Ed and Vault Dwellers.
A man named Ed.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
And judging by the thumbnail, it doesn't look like it works out so well for Ed. We'll see though.
Oh, not so much.
If you want early ad-free access to our Fallout reactions, check out the description of this video. We got a playlist there, or we got a link to our Patreon there and a playlist there for all of our Fallout reactions here on YouTube. We're like a month ahead in our Fallout reactions on Patreon. All right, are you ready?
No.
This time, I definitely forgot again. As if all the other times I was just faking. One time I did fake it.
I think there was like one time out of all of our many Fallouts that you've remembered our Stimpack Spritzer drink.
Yep.
Which has a Stimpack.
It's our official Fallout drink.
Yes, it is. Bucky is trying to lick the outside of the glass, but no, Bucky, you do not get the drink. Cheers.
Now we can do it.
Now we can do it. Ooh, they look nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Edna, just like we practiced.
Oh, Edna. Ooh. Boom. Oh, spray of blood. Disintegrate it. Sweet.
I feel like that was probably nicer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, not so nice.
Edna, begin recording. It took me years to find this place. A lifetime of research and story gathering. The historians in the New California Republic say that the NCR started at Shady Sands when Aradesh decided to unite the surrounding towns. But the real spark of civilization came out of this cave a little west of Shady Sands. The cave itself is nothing special. Even people searching for the place will walk right past. But further back, out of sight, is the entrance to one of Vault-Tech's vaults from Project Safehouse. Had to be somebody's idea of a joke.
Big rat.
Right?
R-U-S.
The Mohawk.
Yeah.
Vault 13. Unlucky for the folk who piled in there in 2077. They were supposed to be in there for 10 years, but got stuck for 160.
Oh.
Damn.
Their bad luck was good for the rest of the wasteland. If they hadn't been in here making little vault dwellers for 80 years, then their descendant couldn't have saved the wasteland in 2161. And another of their descendants couldn't have saved it again back in 41. I'd have been killed by the Enclave, and you'd probably still be a pile of spare parts somewhere, Edna. Each of the vaults was designed to stay shut for a certain period of time, and this one was supposed to remain sealed until they received a signal from the Enclave. That took about 160 years, but long before the Enclave arrived, this vault ran into another kind of trouble. The computer chip that controlled their water purification systems began to break down.
Oh no.
Like the other vaults, this one was run by an overseer, a fella named Jakerin. Now, Jakerin was put in a pickle when that water chip began to malfunction. It would be years before it stopped working altogether, but he didn't want to wait until the last minute before taking action. His goal as overseer was to keep his people safe and free from any outside contaminants, but had to send someone out into the wasteland to look for a new water chip. But who? From the limited population of the vault, he had to choose someone competent, but also expendable. There were a few potential candidates, but the overseer decided to send a man named Tallius out on this secret mission. Tallius wasn't all that special. According to his personnel record in the vault, he was a bit on the slow side, but he compensated for that by gobbling up the vault's supply of mentats. Once he had a few smart pills in him, Tallius would get all talky and pretentious. Maybe the overseer sent him out just so they wouldn't have to hear him make the yakety yak yak all the time. He searched for a replacement chip throughout the region that would one day become the NCR. While he talked the ears off anyone who would listen along the way. Eventually, he discovered the ghoul city of Necropolis, which was built on top of another vault. He would have been able to find a new water chip there, but he ran into some super mutant nightkin that had been sent to Necropolis. As a pure-strain human fresh out of a vault, Tallius was of particular interest to the super mutant master.
Like how he wears like a stop sign
that
for armor.
humans with no taint of radiation would make the best stock for his mutant army. Tallius was taken to the Mariposa base and dipped in the forced evolutionary virus. But that virus is like a genetic crapshoot, and poor Tallius rolled snake eyes. Didn't get the enhanced strength of a super mutant or cool psyker powers. He came out of the vats looking like a ghoul. Even he doesn't fully remember what happened after that. The Master's henchmen left him wherever they dumped his failed experiments. The do-gooders and the followers of the apocalypse eventually found him and brought him to their library in the boneyard. He was still there last I heard of him, still yammering away with his $2 words at anyone who would pay attention to him. A few years after Tallius left the vault, that water chip finally gave up the ghost. It left the vault with just a 3-month supply of drinking water.
Oh, God.
And it meant that Jakerin would have to choose another vault dweller to go out into the wasteland. But that is... Well, the Overseer's records do mention one other scout who was sent out after Tallius, but before the vault dweller. All we know about this pile of bones is that they were once a man named Ed.
Nice music.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, jam session.
Ed was chosen by the Overseer, a
Fun.
paragon who had no peer, a champion who'd never lost a fight. Well, old Ed walked out of Vault 13 with extra ammo and a full canteen. To the west, he could see a natural light. Ed left the cave, but to his surprise, the sun burned his skin and blinded his eyes. He stumbled back to Vault 13's outer door. But he discovered he wasn't alone. The giant rats ate him right down to the bone. His remains stayed there on the cold stone floor.
Ah.
No one knows what became of old Ed.
Not a good way to go.
He was stone cold dead. Years later, Deathclaws came and dragged his bones away. Next to leave would be the old Vault Dweller, a tale known well to this storyteller. But that is a story for another day.
Poor guy.
Yeah, it did not work out so well for Ed. I predicted well.
But like, I mean, yeah, it didn't end well for him, but in such a not heroic kind of end. Like he went out, he decided it wasn't for him, tried to get back, and was eaten to death by giant rats.
I just need my sunglasses.
So sad.
Yeah. Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, episode 2, Vault Dwellers.
Vault Dwellers.
The new California Republic doesn't like when people go looking for Vault 13, birthplace of their savior and all. The exact location is a secret, which is probably for the best. Otherwise, there'd be looky-loos from all over the NCR crawling around in here, grabbing up souvenirs from their little trip to the Down Under in a real live vault. The place has seen better days. Deathclaws aren't the best of housekeepers, but Vault Tech built these things to last. This machine was the water purifier for Vault 13, but it distilled destiny. Started to malfunction sometime in the 2150s. The Overseer sent out a couple of scouts to find a replacement. Neither of them came back. Eventually, the chip broke down altogether. Left the vault with only 3 months of drinking water. So the Overseer had to choose yet another vault dweller to go out in search of a new chip. Someone with the right combination of competence and expendability. The Overseer, Jakerin, still didn't know what the world was like outside the vault. He had been born in here, and the youngsters were 3rd and 4th generation vault dwellers. Not one of them had ever set foot outside in their entire lives. To these vault dwellers, the surface world was a complete mystery. If civilization had rebuilt itself in the 80 years since the Great War, And perhaps they could simply send a diplomat who could negotiate for fresh water or con the surface dwellers into giving them a replacement water chip. According to the Overseer's files, Albert Cole was one such smooth operator. Albert was the fast-talking leader of a splinter faction within the Vault, people who wanted to leave Vault 13 and live free of the Overseer's rule. He was persuasive enough that he might have been able to lead an insurrection against the autocracy of the Overseer. Sending him out in search of the chip would at least get rid of him for a while. If he never came back, well, I would certainly convince Albert's followers that leaving the Vault wasn't in their interest. But Jakerin knew that the world was probably a harsh and violent place, and sending one lawyer out to haggle for a water chip might not be as effective as sending a thief who could just steal the damn thing from some other vault. Natalia Dubrovsky was just such a person. She was the grandchild of a Russian diplomat who worked at the Soviet consulate, the Boneyard, back when it was called Los Angeles. Liberty Prime always used to say that the only good commie was a dead commie. Natalia must have inherited her grandpappy's questionable sense of morality. When she was a child, anytime something went missing, it would always turn up stashed near Natalia's room. Eventually things would just disappear entirely, and no one could ever prove that she'd taken them. Her disciplinary record in the Vault database was mysteriously clean, as though someone hacked into the mainframe and deleted any mention of her misdeeds.
She's resourceful.
Locked doors in the supply depot would mysteriously open themselves, and even the booby traps that Vault security set up outside the Overseer's office would somehow disarm themselves. No one ever saw Natalia doing these things, but Jakerin remembered Natalia's childhood mischief and knew who the likely culprit was. It was only a matter of time before Natalia managed to sneak out of the Vault anyway, so why not send her out to find the chip? Of course, brute force is often the most effective option in the wasteland. Why pussyfoot around when you can just shoot a mini-nuke at your troubles? The Vault had one fellow with a knack for taking the simple approach to life's obstacles. Max Stone was the biggest and dumbest person in Vault 13. According to the medical records, he had been dropped on his head as a child and never fully developed mentally.
Oh my god!
But what he lacked in brains, he more than made up for in strength and persistence. Whatever dangers he might encounter in the wasteland, he'd be able to just shoot or smash his way through.
Punch it!
Strong, resilient, happy to follow orders. He was a natural soldier.
I love the music.
Me shoulder.
What?
Oh!
But in the end, the Overseer didn't have the sand to make the choice himself. He made all of the candidates draw straws and sent the lucky winner out into the wasteland alone. But the Vault Dweller wasn't alone for long. Made a few friends between here and the Boneyard. Some of them stayed by the Vault Dweller's side right to the end. And a couple of them didn't make it.
Dog.
But that is a story for another day.
You know, you keep sending people out there and they don't come back. Maybe if you sent more than one person, like, you know, out on their own, they'd fare a lot better.
That's true, because the different candidates that he was having draw straws. Can't say that very well, apparently. All had such different skill sets.
Yeah.
That if you sent them together as a team, working together, they probably would achieve a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, you got the rogue or whatever. That's the thief that steals things. You got the warrior that, you know, just is a ton of strength. And then
accidentally blows people up sometimes.
Yeah. They just need like a wizard. And then, like, you know, they got this.
Just need a wizard.
And they'll be fine. And then it'll be all good.
Yeah.
You know, and the wizard can be the scientist or whatever. And then the, you know, yeah. So, I don't know. It was just Jacob had flawed logic there. I don't think he was a very good leader.
Well, he couldn't make the decision in the end and had them draw straws.
Yeah, exactly.
I said it that time.
Oh, nice.
So that kind of does speak to his leadership skills or lack thereof.
Yeah. All right, so excited to continue with season 3. And if you want all of our Fallout reactions, we got a playlist below in the description of this video, as well as a link to our Patreon. You can get early ad-free access to our Fallout reactions.
Yes.
Thanks so much for checking out our reaction for Fallout Season 3, Episode 1 and 2, but just keep in mind
that our reaction is definitely not definitive.